Greetings and salutations, baneful brethren. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Toxis, where you get all your toxicity for a low, low price of just listening.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah. What's new and exciting there, darling?
Nothing. Waiting for my son to come home.
Do you miss him?
Rice and vegetables and working out and showering. You know, the usual loser nerd protein festival.
Yeah.
I miss him a lot. I haven't seen him since...
It's been like a month, hasn't
August
it?
6th.
Almost a month.
I think I saw him once for like 5 minutes when he was coming to pick up clothes. So yeah, it's been almost a month. But I get him for a whole month. So I get him from September 1st to October 1st. So.
Isn't it funny how when they're with us, we can bitch and complain about them and be like, oh my God, I need a break. Not so much when they're like Xander's age, but, oh God, I need a break. And then they leave, and it's like, I miss him.
Yeah, what do I do?
I want him home.
My child?
Yeah.
Well, and
when they're little, it's like that, eh? Like you're doing everything for them, and it's like, oh God, I can't wait to just have a break and not have to do this stuff for a little while. And then they're gone for like an hour, and you're like, what do I do with myself?
Yeah, but now I'm at a point where he's like 16, almost 17, grade 11, where he's actually cool, and I want him around.
Yeah.
And we do stuff together.
You can actually have conversations with him.
Really intense, like intelligent conversations, rebuilding his laptop together.
He's
and
a smart
new
kid.
Memory and shit. And now we've been on like this Jurassic Park binge thing.
Yeah.
Where we're binge watching Jurassic Park shit together, like every night, and having popcorn.
Jurassic Park.
So
even the shitty movies, like that second one, that it was just Jeff Goldblum. It's not the best movie, but I love it.
Mm-hmm. We watched the shit out of every single one, so I'm sure we're gonna pick up right where we left off as soon as he gets home.
Fuck yeah, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Daretobomb.com, I tells you.
Can't wait. Super miss him. Want him home.
Well, I get to go see my oldest son next week. He's in Ontario.
First, we get to go see The Conjuring movie.
The Conjuring. I love those movies. Who else loves horror movies? Let us know. Do you love a good horror movie? I don't mean the cheesy fucking D horror movies, you know, but like, you know, the original Poltergeist. Like, oh man, it's fucking great. The Exorcist. The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh. I've watched so many times.
Me too. One of my absolute favorites.
I've watched all the Conjuring movies repeatedly too.
Yep, me too.
Non-stop.
The Nun.
Yep, all the Nuns. Oh. Watched them non-stop recently too, just to catch myself up for when we go see this one.
Yeah. Oh, so good. I should probably do that then.
You probably should.
Yeah, because I haven't watched the original Conjuring probably since the last time I watched it with you.
Yeah, no, I just watched it a few weeks ago. I just binge watched all of them. I was homesick from work, and I watched all of the Nuns and all the Conjurings that I could watch.
I watched all the Nuns. That sounds funny.
Yeah, in a creepy way.
I'm such a creep.
Yeah.
Nuns are my kink.
Especially possessed ones.
Yeah, possessed nuns. Yeah, they're the best. Yeah. Pain with pleasure, baby. Pain with pleasure. Okay, so today,
what are we covering
darling
today?
Hannah, we are covering lesser-known Canadian serial killers.
Lesser known? Ooh.
I have 2 of them for you.
Only 2?
Only 2, because we're going to make a series out of this.
Okay.
Except for when we get to, say, Robert Pickton. That's going to be 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And Clifford Olson, another 2 or 3 episodes at least.
That's going to be a long one.
Yeah, so, shall we start?
Yes.
All right.
We shall.
Here we go. Let's get into this. 35-year-old...
What would you have done if I said no, shan't?
Just sit here and fucking chat with you, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
35-year-old Mary Jane Sirloin.
Sirloin? What is she, a steak?
Serloin. So it's not spelled the same.
No.
But I do this because Hannah likes to write everything down, so she has everything good in her head, so she can ask questions and stuff. Because she's very meticulous like that. Organized and shit. Whereas I am not. 35-year-old Mary Jane Sirloin sat at the Bridge Inn bar in Lethbridge, Alberta, when she met John Martin Crawford. They started talking and even shared a pitcher of beer. Around 10 p.m., Mary Jane left the bar with Crawford. The very next morning, Sirloin's naked body was found only a block away from the Bridge Inn. Her neck, face, and breasts were riddled with bite marks, and she had been badly beaten. Ultimately, Mary Jane's cause of death was found to be asphyxiation. She choked on her own vomit. This poor lady. Also, her portal vein, a blood vessel that carries blood from organs in the abdomen to the liver, was ruptured, causing about a liter of blood to build up in her abdominal cavity.
Holy fuck.
A liter of blood.
You had to have fucking you had to have bludgeoned her pretty bad to cause that much internal bleeding to sever that bit. Holy.
Wow, eh? That's
a lot of internal bleeding. That's a lot of damage.
That's like overkill, man. Big time. As Sirloin had been seen leaving the bar with John Crawford, he obviously became the prime suspect. Police found him about 8 hours later and brought him in for questioning. Crawford said the beating was the result of him trying to help Mary Jane when she was choking.
What?
Yeah. She was choking, so I beat her all about her fucking body to try to make it stop.
She was choking, so I bludgeoned her in the abdomen repeatedly and bit her repeated. Yeah. What?
Yeah. That's the Heimlich remover. Remover.
Yeah, it certainly is a remover of fucking life.
Okay, I said that because a friend of mine from a long time ago thought it was the Heimlich remover.
Schmushmarshman?
Schmushmarshman, yeah, exactly. Okay, so.
Police questioned him. He bludgeoned her to save her from choking?
Yes. There was no explanation for the myriad bite marks on her body. Cops put the asshole under arrest.
No way! You don't say!
The Crown offered Crawford a deal. Confess in full, and the charge will be brought down to manslaughter. He took the deal and got a 10-year sentence at Drumheller's Federal Prison in Alberta. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything about what Mary Jane was like in life, but she started talking to a complete stranger on the night of her murder, so I would say she was probably a pretty cool person.
Yeah,
pretty nice,
an extrovert, kind of a social butterfly. If you're willing to talk to a stranger in a bar calmly and leave with them, then you're clearly outgoing, you're social.
Yeah. That's all around.
Clearly too fucking trustworthy, because I would definitely not leave a bar with a strange man alone that I didn't know, ever. I
have done that before. Luckily, I'm not dead. I don't recommend doing that. But, yeah. Anyway. So I go on to say it pisses me off that victims never get their stories told. But every little thing is written about the shitheads that took their lives.
Right.
Because I looked as much as I could online, and I could not find anything about these women. If they were nice, if they were talented at something. What kind of
lives they led, where
they
were.
The only thing they ever say about these victims, which in this case, they do happen to be sex workers, that's the only thing you ever get about them, is that they were sex workers. And that, indigenous. These were all indigenous victims.
These ones we're talking about today? Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, but that's all you ever get. Native prostitutes. That's it. And it pisses me off.
Do you know how many white prostitutes I know?
Right?
Or have known in my lifetime?
Yeah. But anyway, I don't care what job. You would never, ever, ever, no one would ever do this if it was an electrician. If Mary was an electrician and she was at a bar and left with a dude and got murdered, it would say, oh, she was such a nice woman and so driven. She was an electrician and blah, blah, blah. They're still fucking human. These are humans we're dealing with.
Yeah, occupation.
Does not make the person.
Well, occupational hazards. Right? So if you're a sex worker, if you're an electrician, it's not an occupational hazard that you might get kidnapped or murdered by a shitty man. It's an occupational hazard if you're a sex worker that you might get kidnapped or that, because you're like my occupational hazards are possibility of a volatile client or a physical injury, like a paper cut.
Yeah.
Or when I worked at a previous job, an occupational, being cut by machinery, fingers. They have those different sheets about the possibilities of injury in your line of work.
Yeah.
Being murdered is not an occupational hazard for a dentist.
Yeah.
On a regular day-to-day, whereas if you choose to be a sex worker, that danger is definitely more prevalent.
But there's dangers in every job.
Oh, absolutely.
With an electrician, you can die.
I've been electrocuted.
Pretty fucking simply.
Twice. It sucks.
In this context, like I said, if she was an electrician and she happened to go home with this guy, like, it doesn't seem like this girl was working that night.
No, it seemed like she was
just hanging,
chilling out at the end of an evening and having a drink.
Yeah. So
that
but even so, even if she was working,
and bludgeoned and choked to death.
Even if she was working, she doesn't deserve to get murdered for the job that she does.
Absolutely not. So,
yeah, that's my take on it. And if you think differently, I don't care.
Your opinion is your own.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And you're wrong. Anyway, let's talk about this shithead for a minute. John Martin Crawford burst from the hell that must have been his mom's womb on March 29th, 1962 in Steinbach, Manitoba, Canada. His mom...
Well, that's your first problem.
Manitoba?
And Steinbach. There's an equipment dealership there that I know quite well, though.
I know a person from there. His mom was not married at the time, which was a big taboo at the time. She did end up marrying a cab driver and gave John a little brother and sister. Child John didn't have the best upbringing.
Was it Danny DeVito?
Yeah. Child John didn't have the best upbringing. His stepdad was an alcoholic gambling addict, while his mom was addicted to bingo.
When John gambling.
Yeah. So she really didn't pay attention. Neither of them paid attention to the kids too much. It wasn't a very loving family. Yeah. When John was 4 years old, he was burned pretty severely when he was playing with a lighter. This ended up in him having scarring on his neck, arm, and chest, and this, in turn, caused a lot of taunting from his peers later in life. The same year he was burned, a babysitter molested him. In school, he proved to be a less than ideal student. He was either hyperactive or surly, and it turned out he was dyslexic, which made him a slow learner and earned him more taunts.
Can we circle back to being molested at 4 years old by a babysitter?
Mm-hmm.
Was the babysitter male or female?
Didn't say.
Fuck. Because that's a problem.
I'm guessing probably female because that was back then it was kind of a female job. Babysitting, but who knows? It could have been.
Being molested at 4 years old by anybody, male or female, is going to cause some damage.
Yeah. So I'm going to say what the morbid girls always say. Feel bad for the kid. Don't feel bad for the adult.
No.
The family moved to Vancouver, and John was brought to different psychiatrists, but nothing helped. At 12 years old, he was large for his age, and he was a bully. To top that off, he was sniffing glue on a regular basis. Yeah, and he eventually graduated to weed, prescription drugs, acid, or LSD, what have you. Late in his teen years, Crawford began hearing voices and having hallucinations. The voices were telling him to kill.
And nobody thought they needed to address this?
Well, they did try to bring him to psychiatrists, but I guess nothing happened. Psychiatry back then, too, wasn't what psychiatry is now.
Subpar at best.
Yeah. So, and I will say, just from reading so much about these cases and psychology, because I love psychology, if you already have an existing, perhaps, dormant mental issue, any kind of drugs are going to make 100%. It come out faster and make it come out worse.
Amplify it?
Yeah.
Or prey on it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you have any sort of mental disabilities or anything, prescription drugs, weed, all these things, depressants, alcohol.
Yeah.
they're all going to bring it to the surface, and not in the nicest ways, or amplify it.
Yeah. Especially something like this. This, to me, sounds like schizophrenia.
Paranoid schizophrenia? Voices?
Perhaps, yeah.
Have you ever listened to that?
Oh, yeah, and I don't like it. Those poor people who have to suffer with that. Oh, my.
Yeah, in one of my close friends' college classes, they had to listen to a simulation of what it sounds like and feels like to be a paranoid schizophrenic, and I actually listened to it. And it doesn't bother me any, but I could see how that would make you fucking crazy.
Oh, it's so eerie.
Yeah, it doesn't cause me any weirdness, but I can completely align with how that would make you suffer every day. But on the other hand, you do not belong in regular society. That is some dangerous business.
Unless you can get it under control
proper
with
health,
medications
proper
and shit.
medication and proper control, you are a fucking danger to everybody, including yourself.
Yeah. But back in these days, all they really had for, like, the first thing that comes to mind for illnesses like this was lithium.
I was just going to say
and lithium pretty much made you a fucking zombie. So.
That's not the answer.
No. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say that we are not mental health professionals. So don't come at us about anything. We are not diagnosing anyone.
We're just humans talking.
We're just fucking shooting the shit about it. The little we know about it, that's what we're interjecting.
The only reason I say that is because I deal with them on a regular basis.
Yeah. I just read about this stuff, like, a lot. So, yeah. Anyway. While Crawford was in prison for the murder of Mary Jane Sirloin, his mom got divorced and moved to Saskatchewan, where her son had been transferred. Prince Albert, specifically. John's parents had gotten divorced in Vancouver. When Crawford was released, his mom took him to many psychiatric centers across the province, but nothing seemed to help. Again. Soon, John was huffing paint thinners and using pot and drinking. When Crawford was using, he was a pretty violent dude. It was May 9th, 1992. Janet Sylvester, an Indigenous woman, told police that John Crawford had raped her. The cops searched for their suspect and found him semi-naked at Paradise Beach. He had sunstroke and was pretty close to death. Too bad he hadn't kicked it that day, but anyway.
Right.
The staff at St. Paul's Hospital unfortunately saved his life. He was charged with the rape, but his mom posted his bail, and he was released. Come on, Mom. He was already in prison for killing a woman. He just raped a woman, and you're posting his bail?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Let him rot in there. Seriously. Mom then sternly gave him a 9 p.m. curfew, and he agreed. Yet during the day, Crawford began hanging around with Bill Corrigan, an ex-con he met while in prison in Drumheller. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're an ex-con, I don't think you're supposed to be hanging out with ex-cons, right?
You're not allowed to fraternize.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're supposed to, but God knows the rules.
Yeah. Shelley Napope accepted a ride with Crawford and Corrigan in July 1992. They drove to an out-of-the-way spot where both men violently raped her in the car. Now, I'm going to say something here, and people may disagree with me, but sex workers can indeed be raped. Very much so.
Well, yeah, if you're not willing to do it and you don't want it from this particular person, rape is rape no matter who you are.
Exactly. But you hear a lot of people saying that prostitutes, escorts, what have you, sex workers, they can't get raped because that's their job.
No, they have every right to say yes or no to every client.
Yeah.
Just because you want sex and you want to pay for it doesn't mean she wants to say yes to you. She has to say yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's like saying a cop can't get shot because that's his job. He can still get shot.
No,
she can still be raped. He or she can still be raped.
If I were an escort or high-class escort working for a service, I absolutely have the right to say yes or no to each person that comes to me or each person that comes to that business.
Even if you've already said, yes, we're going to do this, you get in the car, you get to the area, and then right at that moment you're like, no, I don't want to do it.
If something doesn't feel right, you give that money back to them and you say, no, I don't feel comfortable. I don't think this is right, and I would like to go home.
Yep.
Or if something doesn't feel right.
If he or she still does it, that's right.
Even if it's a regular job, if something doesn't feel right, you have the right to refuse unsafe work.
Of course.
What is unsafe is totally dependent on the person in the situation.
Exactly. Now, even though, like, sex work isn't regulated per se, like like your job.
Yeah, but my job is just as fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
That's the terrifying part.
Yeah.
Is my job is legal. My job is a regular, everyday job that you wouldn't think anything about, but there's
the only difference is you can go to HR with a complaint.
Yeah,
prostitutes really can't. No, I know, but you have that option, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but my job is unsafe on a regular basis, and nobody seems to care.
Yeah. Well, you're only female. What do you matter?
Mm.
And I'm saying that facetiously. I don't really mean that. Then John yanked her out of the car and beat her. He then produced a knife and stabbed Shelley Pope to death.
How many times?
It didn't say. Just stabbed her to death. They hid her body under branches, dropped her bloody clothing in a dumpster, and Crawford still managed to make his 9 p.m. curfew. How lucky for him.
I wonder how this mom feels. I hope she feels shitty.
Me too. On September 20th, 1992, Eva Taysup got in Crawford's car at the Barry Hotel in Saskatoon. They ended up going to an old cement factory where they imbibed beer, smoked weed, and had sex. When Eva Taysup asked for $150 instead of $50, Crawford began beating her and strangled her to death. He did attempt to dismember the poor girl, but only got as far as cutting off her right arm.
Jesus.
Yeah, he buried Eva Taysup's remains in a shallow grave. The very next night, Crawford picked up Kalinda Waterhen. And may I just say, I love that name, Kalinda.
It's very unique.
Unique, it's so pretty. A 22-year-old sex worker, and brought her to the same cement factory. Kalinda Waterhen was then beaten and strangled and hid under some leaves.
There's a theme here.
A little bit.
Yeah, he's beating and strangling.
Yep.
And is he doing this alone? Because he did the one. He did Shelley with the other guy.
He only did the one with Bill.
So then he's continued on solo
Yep.
for these other ones. But there's clearly a theme. Beat, strangle.
Yep.
But I don't see rape in these next two. Just beating and strangling. The sex was consensual.
Yep.
And then the violence.
Yep.
Okay.
There was no doubt in my mind that this piece of shit would have kept right on killing if he hadn't been arrested for the beating death of a man in Saskatoon.
A man?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Crawford spent much of 1993 in prison, and wouldn't you know it, First Nations women disappearing in that area stopped.
No way.
Crazy how that works.
No connection there at all.
No. On October 1st, 1994, while hunting, a man found a human skull and called police. Just as the cops were securing the scene, they got a call about 2 more bodies found about 15 kilometers away. One had its arm cut off.
So I'm guessing that's Eva.
Mm-hmm. Now, Billy Corrigan had called the police not long after the 1993 murder of Shelley Pope. He told them where her body was, but when police failed to find her, they put it all off as a hoax.
Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a native woman. That's what Canada's like.
Anybody who dies should have a voice. Anybody who's murdered should have a voice. Man, woman, white, brown, black, indigenous, Chinese, doesn't matter. Anyone who's hurt, abused, beaten, murdered, anybody should have a voice.
Fucking right.
No matter what they are.
Couldn't agree more. Now, however, they zeroed in on John Crawford, and he was put under surveillance. Okay?
So he's going to continue to murder at this point.
Now, keep that in mind. He was put under surveillance. Okay?
After beating and strangling Kalinda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they found Eva's skull.
Yeah.
Because Eva was the one where he tried to dismember.
Well, they found the 3 bodies.
Oh, they found Shelley, Eva, and Kalinda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they couldn't find the one and it was a hoax.
So, just after they killed Shelley, Billy Corrigan had called the police and said, hey, this is what happened, this is where the body is. Police couldn't find the body then, so they thought it was a hoax.
Gotcha.
But then later, the hunter found the body of Shelley. Yeah. So Crawford was placed under surveillance. 2 days later, he was seen picking up a prostitute from the street near the Barry Hotel. She later turned up raped and badly beaten, although she refused to reveal who had attacked her. Okay?
Why doesn't she want to tell?
Teresa Kamach claims Crawford picked her up one night 6 years ago and drove her to a remote area in Saskatoon. She says the RCMP followed them but failed to do anything while Crawford sexually assaulted and beat her. The RCMP says officers acted appropriately given the information they had at the time. Ron Peach, Kamach's lawyer, disagrees. She is now suing the RCMP.
Allowing her to be raped
and beaten.
But
because they were surveilling him for something else, they acted appropriately.
No, they didn't stop a crime in progress.
To serve and protect, you fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah, well, I don't have any good things to say about the RCMP.
Neither do I.
My office, I've called them repeatedly, and they say, why did you call us? You have a security guard. Because it's your job to protect me as a citizen who's afraid.
Yep.
They don't care.
To serve and protect.
I'm not fucking surprised.
But they don't fucking do that.
That's why Alberta's trying to get rid of them.
Yeah,
and they're trying to make our own
Can
police
we,
service.
please?
Because they're trash, and they don't care.
They've been trash forever. They've been trash since the openings of the residential schools. They were part and parcel of that whole thing. They were completely complicit to what was happening to those babies.
What else have they been totally compliant with that we don't know?
Dude, I had so many stories I could tell you. The, what were they called? The Moonlight Rides? Where they would take native people out into the middle of nowhere and beat them to death. Or just dump them. Yeah.
And hope that they freeze to death?
Yep. I think it was called Moonlight Rides. Please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I think it was something like that. Just, ooh.
It's fucking disgusting.
The fucking racism within the RCMP is just appalling. Anyway,
I think the racism in human beings at this point is appalling.
Yeah, but I'm talking about RCMP because they're our biggest fucking police force, right? So now Billy Corrigan. Oh nope, already read that. Sorry, guys. 2 days passed, and the body of Janet Sylvester was found. Remember, she was the one who accused him of rape, and his mom got him out on bail. The body of Janet Sylvester was found. She had been strangled. Now, you might recall that name. Crawford had raped 2 years before. It says the body was found. She was strangled.
I was just curious because we had a reoccurring theme of beat and strangle. But
he probably beat her too. It just says strangled here. But So Janet Sylvester had been a no-show at the rape trial against Crawford, which led to all charges being dropped. Awfully convenient for the fucking puke, eh?
Yeah, because he probably fucking killed her, so he couldn't show up.
Yep.
She couldn't show up. So.
Yep. Bill Corrigan, having been convinced by the police, wore a wire to try to get his old buddy John to admit to the murder of Shelley Pope. Crawford didn't fall for it.
Well, at least he's a smart criminal.
Yeah.
He's not getting caught for most of this.
Yeah. On January 19th, 1995, police finally arrested John Martin Crawford, and he was officially charged for the murders of Shelley Pope, Eva Taysup, and Kalinda Waterhen. He and his defense team attempted to put the blame on Bill Corrigan, but that little story didn't convince anyone. In May of 1996, Crawford was convicted for all 3 murders and sentenced to life in prison.
What about Janet?
What
about Teresa?
However, still suspected for the murder of Janet Sylvester and at least 2 other Indigenous women. John Martin Crawford died on December 16th, 2020. He was, by then, serving his sentence at the Regional Psychiatric Center in Saskatoon. The cause of death was never released. But who cares how he died? Let's just rejoice that this blight on humanity is dead and gone.
I'm just hoping that he was brutally beaten and strangled.
Yeah.
For killing I would guess by this entire story, at minimum 7 women.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Teresa Kamach claims Crawford picked her up one night 6 years ago and drove her to a remote area in Saskatoon. She says the RCMP... No. I already read that. This is the one I'm looking for. Kamach's lawyer, Ron Peach, says, quote, the officers were in the immediate vicinity surveying the situation, and a young woman was raped and beaten by a known monster, unquote. The monster, says Peach, was John Crawford. Crawford admitted killing one person and was suspected in a number of other deaths. He was eventually convicted of murdering 3 Saskatoon women, blah, blah, blah. We know all that. The statement of claim alleges at least 3 RCMP officers witnessed Kamach being raped inside Crawford's car just a few meters away and didn't intervene.
They didn't do anything about it.
No. The RCMP says their officers didn't know. You were surveilling him. Surveillance means looking at.
Were they sleeping?
Following someone.
Or eating donuts? Was the car facing the opposite direction? What were you surveying?
Fuck.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Doesn't even make sense.
RCMP spokesperson Heather Russell says, the police acted appropriately. Members who are conducting surveillance are under no obligation to intervene if they see a criminal act take place. However, the members in this case were not aware that there had been a criminal act at the time during the incident. Heather Russell, you and all your RCMP cohorts can go fuck yourselves. Sorry, I get really heated about this shit. Really, really heated. You're supposed to serve and protect. And you have no obligation to intervene when a woman is being violently raped and beaten?
Because it will compromise the investigation you're already doing?
Well, then you can just add another charge on this piece of shit. That's how you keep him in jail. Question him about the murders. Break him down. That was your fucking in, instead of surveilling him. Oh, wait, no, you weren't even fucking doing that.
You were probably napping or eating.
Oh. Heated I am. Heated. Okay.
I can tell.
So our next piece of shit that we're gonna fucking talk about. Russell Johnson.
Russell Johnson. How old is this motherfucker?
Otherwise known as the bedroom strangler.
Let me guess. He strangles women in bedrooms?
No, bathrooms. Why would you think bedrooms? No, just kidding. From October 1973 to August 1974, the Ontario cities of London and Guelph were inundated with some weird deaths. Natural causes were the manners in which 4 women died in their beds. On October 19, 1973, 21-year-old student Mary Hicks was found dead in her London bed. She just looked like she had been sleeping when she died. Authorities found no trauma on her body. Her cause of death was suffocation due to a new prescription drug she had recently started. There was a pillow that was partially covering her face, but police didn't find it suspicious.
How do you suffocate from a prescription medication
That you just recently started taking? I don't know.
That's
Other than choking on the pill? Actively choking on the pill going down your throat? I don't know.
That's fucking ludicrous.
Yeah.
And not the rapper.
Yeah. Luna. About a month later, this time in Guelph, Alice Ralston, 42, was found dead in her bed. Again, there was no trauma to her body, and the death looked natural. Ralston had been on some medication to treat hardening of the arteries, so it was decided that her condition is what killed her.
Did they check the eyes?
They didn't check anything. You're going to find
autopsy?
out. Let's keep going, and you're going to find out. Now back to London in March 1974, where 27-year-old Eleanor Hartwick was found dead in her bed. Cause of death? Adverse reaction to a prescribed medication.
There's a theme here.
Yeah.
They're
A
just
theme of
magically
fucking
dying
stupidity.
from all different medications?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
It's fucking nonsense.
Whew. Then,
I could see me dying from an adverse reaction to a medication.
because you're allergic to, like, your skin.
Well, yeah, I have specific medication allergies, so yeah, if somebody wanted to kill me, they could, but they would need to know what type of medication it is.
Yeah.
For anaphylactic shock, but...
She's not actually allergic to her skin. I was just...
Depends on the fucking day. Depends on the day.
Can you imagine being allergic to your own skin?
I'm allergic to the sun.
But how do you live being allergic to your own skin? It's not like you can flay yourself.
Put it to sleep. Euthanize.
Just the skin.
Try the next life.
Yeah. Good luck. Then between August 8th and 9th, 49-year-old Doris Brown had died in her bed in her second-story Guelph apartment. Her cause of death was pulmonary edema, excess fluid in the lungs, even though there were traces of blood in her throat and her rectum. Might I just add, fluid in the lungs can be from being suffocated or choked to death. So there's that. But she just died from pulmonary edema, whatever.
I don't agree with that diagnosis.
And there was blood in her throat and rectum. But yeah, don't pay no mind to that. Sorry, I just hit my mic.
You generally don't just randomly have blood in your ass for no reason.
No, not really.
Just
not
saying.
Usually. Or your throat, for that matter. Then on December 31st in Guelph, James Britton went to his girlfriend's house and let himself in. He found 23-year-old Diane Beats dead in her bed. Her hands were tied behind her back, and she had been strangled to death with her own bra. It was later determined that she had been raped after her death. The police offered a $5,000 reward for clues leading to the arrest of the perpetrator. Luella Jean George, 23.
So the rape is postmortem.
Yep. Necrophilia.
Gross.
Luella Jean George, 23, was found dead in her fourth-floor apartment. Sorry about that, guys. We had to initiate a pause there. Her lovely son just got home, and that was the buzz you heard. So we're just going to continue on here, shall we?
So we were at 23-year-old Luella Jean? Is that where we were?
Luella Jean George, 23, was found dead in her fourth-floor apartment. She was in bed, and it looked like she may have died of natural causes. That is, until police searched a garbage bin and found jewelry and underwear that belonged to Luella. After this death, the police presence around Guelph was increased. 3 women were raped and strangled into unconsciousness in their beds over the next 2 months. Police now feared they had a serial rapist on the loose.
No way. After 21-year-old Mary and 42-year-old Alice and 49-year-old Doris?
Those girls were murdered. These ones were only raped.
Oh, so they weren't murdered?
No.
Okay.
They were raped. On July 16th, 1977, Donna Veldboom didn't go to work, and that was a very odd occurrence for her. One of her co-workers reported her missing because everyone was scared shitless about all the sex crimes involving women. She was found covered up in her bed. Veldboom had been strangled to death, but she also had a deep cut across her chest. This was a first. Police also discovered that Donna had been bathed after she was murdered.
So did he bathe her after the deep cut or before?
After.
Was the deep cut postmortem or before?
The deep cut was postmortem, but he did bathe her after that.
So
and then
cut her
put her back in her bed and covered her up.
That's fucking creepy, dude.
Yeah. The cops were pretty much at a standstill until a friend of Donna Veldboom came forward and told police that she and Donna had been on the phone together the night of Veldboom's death, when she said she had to hang up as there was someone at the door. This led police to begin questioning every tenant in the building, because it was a secure building. You had to let people in, right?
So hopefully somebody knew who was let in.
Russell Morris Johnson really came onto the authorities' radar. He lived on the 3rd floor, and he had been under psychiatric care for a sex addiction in his recent past.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Now police began to dig around in Johnson's life and background. Before he lived in his current apartment, he lived in the same building as Luella George.
No way.
He'd also made a police report about someone breaking into his car when it was parked 1 block away from the apartment that Diane Beats lived in. This report was from the very same day as her murder.
No, I just think he's kind of a fucking idiot.
So, Johnson was brought to the station for questioning, and he cracked pretty quick. He got all teary-eyed and confessed to the murders of Donna Veldboom, Diane Beats, and Luella George. Oh, but the shit stain wasn't done yet. He also confessed to murdering Mary Hicks, Eleanor Hartwick, Alice Ralston, and Doris Brown. All those ladies who had died of natural causes.
From adverse reactions to medication and being strangled and raped.
Yeah. If you recall, all 4 of these women were said to have died of natural causes. And then I put, fuck, I hope those pathologists were so fucking fired.
I don't even understand how you could fuck so many of these up so badly. Even being somebody who's never gone to medical school, it's like there's a clear sign here that something is wrong. Yeah. Yeah. You don't accidentally die from medication, but have a pillow half over your face.
And then have like 4 of them die of adverse reactions and whatnot? Yeah.
Unless it's the same medication, which in these stories...
Then you might want to recall
it. It's not.
Fuck.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Just the stupidity is incredible.
It really is. From what is supposed to be professionals.
And I'm a non-university student.
Yeah.
So, like, how... Yeah. I guess I have watched a lot of crime shows, a lot of documentaries.
But anyway, it's common sense.
Yeah, well,
there's not a lot.
Not very common these days, my dear.
No. Now, police needed to know his motives and his modus operandi, or MO, if you will. How was he getting into these ladies' apartments? How indeed. We know one of them, how he got in.
He lived there in the same building.
Yeah.
On the floor below her.
Johnson was a former amateur wrestler, and he was a pretty big, strong guy. This fucking absolute demon would climb up the sides of apartment buildings, sometimes as high as the 13th floor.
Well, we're overzealous. I'm afraid of heights. I couldn't do that.
He would peek into windows, and if he saw a woman sleeping alone, he'd break into that apartment. Then he'd watch her sleep for a little bit, or lay down on the floor beside the sleeping woman in order to be close, quote, close to her.
That's fucking weird and gross, dude.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the end, he would strangle the victim and then have sex with the body. Johnson would then be overcome by remorse, so he tucked the victim into bed and obsessively cleaned the apartment. Now remember, he had deeply slashed Donna Veldboom. That was the only one, right? That was the only victim that had, like, you know, outward trauma like that.
Well, except for the ass blood of the one girl.
Yeah. When asked why he did that, his response was sick and chilling. He said he wanted to, quote, get inside where it's safe and warm.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh. Like, why? Understand.
I know.
It's so fucked up and gross.
Isn't that fucking chilling?
Where it's warm and safe.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Vaginas are warm when they're alive.
Yeah. Where it's warm and safe. Ooh, that's just...
Ugh.
Ooh. Russell Johnson ended up standing trial for the murders of Diane Beats, Donna Veldboom, and Luella George in February 1978. He was found guilty by reason of insanity and committed to the maximum security wing of the Ontario Mental Health Centre. The investigation was the costliest ever in Ontario at the time. It amassed $30,000 in expenses. Now, think that's 1977, where roundabouts, you know?
Well, I wonder what the cost of $30,000 in 2025 is from 1977.
I was hoping you'd look it up. Because I love finding the difference, you know? What is it? What is it? We're waiting with baneful breath.
So $30,000 in 1977 If it's a standard chart and standard inflation calculation, it's $159,000 in 2025.
Wowza.
Well, sorry, $159,924.75. So $160,000.
That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every year, Johnson begs for leniency at the facility. The victims' families obviously object to this. Johnson has been chemically castrated and is on a drug called Lupion, which that reduces testosterone, apparently. Lupron, sorry, Lupron. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so it's also known as Leuprolide, is a synthetic version of gonadotropin. It's a releasing hormone that used to treat various cancers and hormone-related issues.
Oh, okay.
It's administered as an injection into a muscle or under the skin and can be given alone or with hormone treatments.
Okay, so he's chemically castrated and he's not getting any testosterone. The Ontario Court of Appeals rejected his bid to move to Brockville Mental Health Centre in 2012. Johnson is currently 78 years old, and one can only hope his death is painful and he lingers in complete agony.
Well, honestly, why wasn't he already fucking murdered?
Yeah, because he was in a psychiatric. He's in a fucking psychiatric institution, so...
Fun fact, Lupron was actually originally used to manage the reoccurrence of painful symptoms of endometriosis. So it's kind of bittersweet that they're using it to chemically castrate a guy who raped women.
Yeah. Haha. Fucking sick fuck. Get in where it's safe and warm. Ooh. That chilled me.
Well, that drug was also discontinued in 2022 for lack of demand.
Ah, yeah.
So maybe it won't beneficially keep treating that piece of shit. Just kill him.
Well, I know the chemical castration drugs, too. They're fucking expensive. So...
Yes, let's waste more tax dollars on people that we should just euthanize. Why not?
Yeah. Well, when these pieces of shit rapists and shit like that, when they're chemically castrated inside, they get out, and they can't afford the needles or meds or what have you to be chemically castrated, so it all just comes back. If you're going to do that, castrate them. Not chemically. Castrate them.
Or just don't set them free.
Yeah.
Ever.
But the sentences for sex maniacs, for lack of a better term, is so fucking lenient. I don't get it. If you rape someone, that person that you raped is fucked for the rest of their life. They can go to therapy and they can start to feel better, but that's always going to be there. You're always going to be fucked for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's never going away.
So why are these people put in prison for 5 years, 10 years? That's not fair. They should also get a life sentence because their victim has a life sentence.
Oh yeah, they suffer with what's been done to them forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not fair.
Well, like I've said on previous times, I'm sure we'll have this conversation many more times.
Mm-hmm.
Rapists, pedophiles, things like that, there shouldn't be an out. There shouldn't be rehabilitation. There should just be the end.
I don't believe there is rehabilitation for that kind of stuff.
No.
I don't think there is. And Roy Hazelwood, he was a very popular profiler with the FBI. Unfortunately, he's gone now, but he specialized in sex crimes.
Left the FBI or died?
He died.
Of old age?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, he wasn't murdered or anything. I've read a few of his books, and he's amazing. He believed after all his research and talking to professionals and stuff like that, and the professionals and him all say there is no rehab for a person who commits sex crimes. There's not.
And it doesn't matter whether the sex crime is against an adult or a child.
No.
It's just sex crimes, period. There's no rehabilitation for that.
But there's definitely not for pedophiles and stuff, there's no rehab for that. So the only out they should get is death.
I agree.
That's what I think.
I could never rape or hurt a person like that or sexually abuse a person.
No.
A grown up.
How does one do that?
I can't even fathom the thought of wanting to.
No.
Never mind to a child also. So I just, the thought pattern, the capability mentally for me is not there. I don't even understand.
Well, that's because you're normal.
No.
Quote on,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I mean,
it's not fucking normal by any
how do we
means.
define normal? But you know what I mean. Yeah, I couldn't just
It doesn't
hurt
even
anyone
compute
just
in
for the
my
sake
brain.
of hurting someone.
Mean, I've hurt people. I've beat the shit out of people.
Me
I've done
too.
some shit in my life, but it was because my life was in threat.
Yeah.
I don't just randomly decide to abuse or hurt people. It's fucked up.
Well, I mean, I used to, when I was a teenager and my life was fucked, I used to just like go pick fights and stuff like that and beat people up. But trust me, I got my ass handed to me too. So, you know, it's a 50-50 shake every time you fucking do that. So
yeah, you never know when you're going to win or lose.
Yeah, exactly. But
I've
yeah,
never gone
these
out
people
of my way
should
to
be.
pick any fights, but I've sure fucking thrown down in a few.
Yeah, yeah. I always say we should send them to Snake Island.
Ah, yes.
We've discussed
had
that on here
conversation.
before.
Yeah, we totally have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. They ain't getting off. Snake Island. I mean, sorry, that was the wrong words.
I was going to go down a dark road there for a minute, but then
I
mean,
mean,
correct yourself.
Yeah, both ways you want to take it, it's not happening on Snake Island. Somebody should make a song called On Snake Island about pedophiles being put there. Can somebody do that? Because I can't. But anyway, yeah. So that was 2 Canadian serial killers that are rarely ever talked about.
No, I'm sure there's more.
There's lots more.
Where that came from, I'm sure we could find more.
Oh, there's lots more. Lots more. Yeah, so we're going to make a series out of this. Hannah, is this going to be bonus content or is this going to be on the pod?
I think this will just be on the pod. I think
Yeah?
it'll just be on the pod. Our bonus content is always a good time, and usually the bonus content's Reddit's.
Okay.
So far anyway.
Okay.
I think this is regular to me.
Yeah. Okay. I do the research and shit like that, and then we sort of, everything else we talk about what we're going to do with it, because it's our podcast, so.
And I'm surprised every motherfucking time.
Well, that's what you want, so.
No, I like it.
I mean, if I could, I'd be on the fucking phone with you going, hey man, do you want to cover this? Because I get excited about it.
Yeah, but
then,
I like my excitement to be candid
Yeah.
and firsthand and fresh and
Yeah.
real.
I like it too, because I like looking over at you and you're either like, "Arr," or you're like, woo,
like,
it's gonna get good. Yeah, update. Yeah, so I'm going to hand it off to Hannah, and once again, we so appreciate your listens, and we love you. Hannah?
Yeah, there's not really much left to say, but thanks for tuning in today. We explored a few minor Canadian serial killers. Mr. John Crawford and Russell Johnson, they're both greasy as fuck.
Yuck.
Ugh, I'm sure there's worse ones. I'm sure we can find more.
Oh, we can.
If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and drop us a like, as we are now on all platforms. If you would like to help fund our toxicity, jump on over to ko-fi.com/toxispod, and then maybe we'll have some more exclusive members-only content to check out next week. And next week, like always, it's a fucking surprise again. I'm not really
Toss
sure.
up.
It could be toxic Reddits. It could be more serial killers. It could be killer children. I don't know, but we'll find out. So don't miss it. And as always, we will see you then, baneful brethren.
And please, share us with your friends if you like us. Even if you don't like us, share us with your friends. And word of mouth goes a long way. Thank you, baneful brethren. Bye.